Good morning, Enkindle Watchmen. I am so excited to come and share this concept that God's been revealing to me. See, I grew up in a Christian home, and I grew up in church. Literally, I was dedicated, and then I attended every Sunday, Wednesday, spaghetti dinner, board meeting, family camp. I was there all the time. And in that time that I was able to interact with that community, I felt safe and I felt at home and I felt engaged with my God and among a group of people that truly not only loved Jesus, but they loved each other. As my dad was diagnosed with cancer, an endless parade of supporters would come through offering prayers and dinners and goodies. And I was just so blessed through it all. That is the church that I remember. Now I understand that I will say a few years later, the church is very different. It looks very different from that safe community, that God-filled place that had the aroma of Jesus when you walked in. And I can just have tears almost coming to my eyes, remembering his presence. There was so many days I would spend up at the altar just being held in his arms. And lately, as we look at the church, I've actually been visiting churches here in my local area, and it's very different from what I remember. And my heart has been so grieved for my children and for the next generation who will not experience that safe community, where God's presence in church is something that happens and we don't quite understand when or how it happens. But I'm here to tell you, God revealed this beautiful truth to me just recently. Several years ago, I had a youth pastor who became my spiritual mentor as she led me all through my formative years. I remember her sitting on her stairs talking with her, and I was, talking about dating or boys or something. And she just looked at me and she stopped me and she said, "Kim, do you know that you're part of the remnant?" And I kind of shook my head, not really understanding what that meant. And I kept going about my business. And she stopped me yet again. And she said, "You are part of the remnant." Again, I continued on my way, not giving much thought to it. But recently, God's brought to the forefront of my mind that conversation and her saying to me, "Kim, you are the remnant." And what I begin to understand as I've looked through biblical history, there were many, many great days for Jerusalem and for God's chosen people, but there were probably more dark days than there were good days. They lived in a land under captivity. They've been persecuted, and it's been very difficult for them. But God has always held together what we call a remnant, which is just a buzzword. It just means a group of people that in every generation are just sold out for Christ. They will do whatever it takes to bring Christ to the world. And I'm here to tell you today that I'm so honored and privileged to be a part of this community, because I want to let you know, just like my youth leader told me many, many years ago, I want to let you know that you are the remnant. In 1 Peter, there's a beautiful verse that just sums up this whole concept in much better words than I could. Let me read that to you. It says, "But you are a chosen people. You are a holy priesthood, a nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness and into his wonderful light." I'm asking you today, remnant, that we would remember our numbers and remember that we are a growing community that just loves Jesus. Thanks so much.